I'm going to be going to the world record for the fastest human-powered journey from sea level to the summit of Mount Everest within 60 days. I'll fly over to the Bay of Bengal in India, in the state of West Bengal, and it'll be like, you know, that David Hasselhoff moment on the beach. I'll be in the budgie smugglers, taking the piss a little bit, but yeah. No, so we'll start in the water. He slips, falls into a crevasse, and I've just got his weight on this rope. I'm doing this for youth mental health here in Australia. It's a mindset and it's a decision to improve your life, and you can make that at any moment.
G'day guys, welcome back to another episode of Level Up. We are in the new studio today, so this is the second podcast in the new studio. We're still getting a few things figured out, but I'm pretty bloody pumped, to be honest. I'm looking forward to getting all our new signage and some neon lights and bits and pieces, but as always, we have an absolute cracker for you today. And look, a massive shout out to a good mate of mine and one of our Live Like Build members, Sam Carroll, for introducing me to today's guest. I'm a little bit unsure how to introduce this bloke today because I'm like the rest of you. I am super interested to find out more about him and how he's managed to do what he is doing. But today is something very different. So today we have with us Ollie, who is a full-time adventurer and thrill seeker. So Ollie's come from fibre optics and had a bit of success in real estate. But, mate, how the hell do you get into full-time adventuring?
Yeah, mate. Honestly, spend a lot of money on it.
Well, mate, honestly, I'm keen to know how you afford to be a full-time adventurer.
Yeah. So I've been lucky. Like I do have a couple of sponsors, and I still do dabble from time to time in the real estate world. It's just something I enjoy, and I think it's a cool industry. But I put a lot on the line quite fast to do this, and I was happy to do that because my whole mindset about it was, you know, I have a crack. I try to chase a dream. It works out amazing. It doesn't. I'm back in Brisbane doing real estate or a trade or something, and mate, it's not that bad either. So yeah.
So we're going to dive pretty deep into why Ollie's doing what he's doing and what he does. But Ollie's actually on a mission to break a world record. So we'll come back to that in a minute. But yeah. Mate, can you just give us a little bit of lead up to where you are now? Like, I guess if you want to start from sort of back at your schooling and your career up until now.
Yeah, definitely. So schooling, I was at Iona College and absolutely loved it there. Really normal childhood. Had mum and dad that loved me. We weren't the richest family out there, but had an awesome time growing up. Kicking the soccer ball pretty much every day. Chasing my brother and sister around, so that was awesome. And then Iona College, fantastic from about year 8 to year 12. And at school, it was just super sporty, always training for something. Didn't know that it was going to be Mount Everest, but at the time it was soccer. And basically, yeah, had a great time. But in year 11, had some pretty hard times. My mum got sick kind of randomly, and found out that she had a stage 4 brain cancer, which rocked everyone's world in the family. And within, it was about a 6-month period, she passed away to that.
Yeah, sorry to hear that, mate.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, so that really like switched things up quite fast. It was like, you know, the carpet just gets ripped out from under you instantly, and you're just paddling up creek from there. So that was a really hard time in my life. Year 12, I still like went to school and worked hard and stuff like that, but it was a bit of a write-off, to be honest. Like my life changed pretty majorly. And then after school, I was super lucky. I got a scholarship to go play soccer over in the States.
Yeah, right.
So went over there to chase a dream. I reckon I was a bit young. We played an awesome season. So the season went for about 4 months, but then the rest of the time I was there, it was just college life. Play on as always.
Yeah.
So a lot of partying, a lot of like the frat movies, which is good.
So how did that come about? Like, obviously you're very good to get a scholarship to go over there.
Yeah. So I wanted to go over there. Like, I had a mate who was a bit older than me that went over there, and he was telling me all about it, and that inspired me big time. And then we just put the feelers out. I had a lot of my games filmed as well, and I was playing in the National Premier League from about 16 in Australia, and sent it over and got a few offers for scholarships, which I wish I focused more on the learning back then, because I feel like I'd be a bit better equipped now. But yeah, went over and had a great time,
Yeah.
which is good. And from there, came back after a year, and that's when I got into a trade.
Hey guys, we have got a huge announcement to make. If you're a builder, or more importantly, the wife or partner of a builder in the construction industry, we are having a huge seminar on the 12th, 13th and 14th of March, and you do not want to miss this. Live Like Build has events every single year, but we are making this one bigger and better than ever before. It's going to be an event across 3 days, and we've got an incredible lineup of guest speakers, mentors and coaches to cover everything from imposter syndrome, building your confidence, estimating, building software, holistic health, leadership, systems and processes, like you name it. This seminar is all about better businesses, better projects and better lives. So stay tuned, go to the Live Like Build website or go to the Live Like Build Instagram page or even my personal Instagram page. Stay tuned for the ads, click the links, and I look forward to seeing you at this event. You do not want to miss this one. What sort of trade did you get into?
Yeah, so I was started basically in fiber optics and data, and I did that for 2 years. I absolutely loved it. I think that really taught me a work ethic, because there are some hot days up on that roof. It was brutal sometimes. But yeah, we worked on everything. It was aged care focus, but new sites, some old sites as well. They were super interesting. You don't know what you'd come up with. You'd start the day with a clean shirt and you'd end with a bunch of stuff all over you from some of the oldies sometimes. So yeah, it was interesting, but I really enjoyed it. I had a great boss too. So he taught me a lot about working hard and, just putting others first. And yeah, it was a great experience.
It's a bit of a change, mate, from going overseas to play soccer and then coming back and sweating off in hot roofs, laying cables.
Yeah, I know, it was humbling. But no, it was all part of the journey. And like that, my whole family are tradies. So it's just part of the blood, to be honest, and I was happy to do it.
Yeah.
And so I did that, got my ticket, and did that a little bit after the ticket. But then I met a guy at my football club back home, and he gave me an opportunity in real estate. So I took the leap and started in real estate just about probably 2.5 years after doing the trade, and yeah, I was off and away.
And so you became a real estate salesperson here in Brisbane?
Yeah, here in Brisbane. So down in the Redlands I started.
Yeah.
And then I started building a business, had a business partner come in as well. So we worked together, which was great. And yeah, did that for 5 years and got a lot from that. I really enjoyed that journey, which is good.
So you had your own little branch, did you? Or?
Yeah, we had our own team. So within Harcourts, we had a team. It was called Team Foran. And yeah, mate, we sold heaps of properties, which is unreal.
Well, you picked a good time to get into it.
Yeah. It was actually like in the midst of COVID, hey?
Yeah.
I took that leap, which actually worked out to be a really good time. It was scary, and like my whole family was telling me like, nah, don't do it. It's not worth it. Times are uncertain. But just listen to intuition, and it worked out, which is cool.
Yeah. Awesome. So yeah, take us to now. Like, how do you go from real estate?
Yeah.
So you must have always had some sort of thirst for adventure.
Yeah. So the whole time I've always been training for something. And my weekends were spent, four-wheel driving on Tradie, or, going for a hike through the Glasshouse Mountains, or just somewhere. Like, I was never just stationary at home. I was always out doing something. And my love for adventure really grew after real estate. So about 5 years into my real estate career, I was in my mid-20s, and I just decided, you know what, I'm just going to have a crack. I just want to see what else is out there in the world and just go traveling. So I ended up selling my part of the business to my business partner and stepping away, and then I flipped the property at the same time. And so I had a little bit of cash, and I was like, all right, I'm just gonna go see where I end up.
Yeah.
And that's when I took a flight over to Madrid and just started traveling from there. And that, like, taking that leap and just going out there, that really ignited my love for adventure. And like sometimes I'd be staying in like a hotel or an Airbnb, but most of it was like a hostel or a tent. And I'd be somewhere random in a country like Morocco or Indonesia, absolutely having a great time.
So how long did you do that for?
Yeah, so I traveled solidly for 3 months, and I started in Europe, then I went over to Africa, then I flew for a friend's wedding to Indonesia, and after that wedding, I went to Vietnam. And in Vietnam, I was actually rock climbing on this little island off Vietnam in the South China Sea. And I met this American. He was a mountain guide, and we just hit it off like anything. We just started chatting, and he's telling me all these wild stories about the big mountains, and I was like, that's pretty sick, eh? I'd love to try that. And yeah, eventually he's just like, why don't you try that? And we spent about 2 weeks together, and I was like, you know what? I am going to try that. So I booked a one-way ticket over to Nepal, and that was the start of this journey I'm on now, which is epic.
Yeah.
A perfect position to do it.
Oh, mate, like that's incredible. Like I take my hat off to people that are just courageous enough to just take the leap and have a crack. Like it's so exciting. You never know where the world's going to take you.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm sure you met some incredible people on the way.
Yeah, oh mate, and that's half the fun, right? It's just you don't know who you're going to meet or where you're going to meet them, but you make so many lifelong friends just out there in the trails on an adventure doing something, because everyone's like-minded and everyone's there just for the absolute love of it and just to get outdoors and live that kind of life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're obviously a very committed person because you're not holding back. Like, this is a pretty serious record attempt you're trying to do.
Yeah, definitely. And it's taken all of me. Like,
Yeah.
I've been training for about 6 months solidly just with this one goal in mind.
So tell the listeners, mate, what's the record?
Yeah, so in April, May this year, I'm going to be going for the world record for the fastest human-powered journey from sea level to the summit of Mount Everest within 60 days.
Days.
I'm aiming for 60 days.
And what's the current record?
67 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've given myself a week of leeway, but 60 is a round number and it looks good. So that's what we're going to be aiming for.
And so where will that start?
Yeah, so it'll start, I'll fly over to the Bay of Bengal in India, in the state of West Bengal. And it'll be like, that David Hasselhoff moment on the beach. I'll be in the budgie smugglers, taking the piss a little bit, but no, so it'll start in the water. And then, I'll come out and I'll ride 1,150 kilometers north through West Bengal.
On a pushy?
On a pushy, yeah. So I'm aiming to do that between 11 to 15 days. It just depends, road conditions and everything like that. So we're averaging about 100 Ks a day. Not over there. I've ridden in Nepal. So I've done quite a bit of training last year in Nepal.
Yeah.
But yeah, plenty here in Australia. And that's part of the adventure, right?
Mm.
So then what we'll do is we'll get to the foothills of Mount Everest and we'll arrive there in a little town called Bung. And I'm going to jump off the bike there. And that's when I'm going to meet my climbing partner. And then what we're going to do is we're going to start the trek into, I guess, the Himalaya, which would be great. But instead of going the usual Everest base camp route, because you did base camp, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
but I cheated, mate. We flew into Lukla.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't cheat. That's the only way I knew to do it.
Yeah. Mate, that's solid as. But yeah, instead of going in that way, I'm going to come in the back way and go through the Makalu National Park there and kind of pop out the backside of Everest and then come around to base camp from there.
So we were told when we were over there that the back way is a lot harder than the way we went.
Yeah. Well, it's not as developed.
Yeah.
It hasn't had the infrastructure there yet, which is part of the reason why we want to go in that way. It is more direct, but we are filming a documentary and we just thought that way is just going to be magical. It's going to film well. It's also challenging, and this whole expedition is just about absolutely challenging myself for youth mental health. Like that's what we're aiming to do. And I just show people that if you really put your mind to something, anything is possible.
Have you climbed Everest before?
I've climbed most of the mountains around it. So I haven't climbed Everest, so this is going to be new for me. But I've climbed a really, really big technical mountain called Amadublam. You would have walked past that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I did that about May last year.
Yeah.
So that was super technical mountain. I was also guiding a friend on Lennon Peak, which is a 7,000 meter mountain. And that was August last year.
Yeah.
So I've been leading into it, which has been good.
It's crazy, mate. Like I love my adventure. I promised myself after doing base camp that I would do at least one big adventure every single year, and we obviously got put off for those few years through COVID, but we have done that this year. Shay and a couple of Live Like Bill members and some mates are going to Kokoda. But next week I go off with Glen Azar. We're doing the Aussie 10, so it's the top 10 highest mountains in Australia in 2 days.
That's solid.
But mate, they're all over 2,000 meters, but they're all within 50 kilometers of each other.
Yeah.
And like it's just Australia's just obviously different. Like, and it absolutely blew my mind when I went over to Nepal. Like I didn't know what to expect. Like you see it on documentaries and things, and like obviously, what's Everest? 8,700.
8,848.
Yeah, and like I just in my mind, I just had that from a distance you would just see this enormous mountain, but myself and most people don't understand. Like every single mountain in Nepal is huge.
Massive. Yeah.
like Everest is here, but then you got another one that's just under it, and then like there's hundreds of them, and so you're up in altitude for a long time.
Yeah. And
so
the wild thing about Everest is once you get to base camp, you actually can't see it, which is you would have experienced as well.
Yeah.
Because there's so many big peaks in front of it. You know, there's Lhotse there, which is 8,500. You got Nuptse, which is just shy of 8,000, and like it all drowns seeing Everest out. The only time I got a good look at Everest was 2 times. Everest View Hotel, which you would have checked it out, and on the summit of Amadublam.
Yeah.
So it's incredible.
I think it's an incredible place, mate. I'm really looking forward to following your journey, and I have no doubt you're going to kill it. But that whole environment, like that last night, I forget the last little village that you stay at before you get to base camp. Like you're basically sleeping on a glacier, and like all night you can just hear the ice cracking and moving. And And then we actually we got to base camp sort of right at the end of the season. There was literally just some piles of gear and that they were sort of still getting out of there.
Yeah.
And there was an enormous, like we just heard this. I can't even explain the noise. Like it was just like this massive cracking and. Yeah, it's pretty much like thunder. And like we'd turn around and like up in one of the valleys, there's just this enormous avalanche. And like the guide's like, it's okay, it's a long way away. Like, but it's an incredible environment to be in. I wish I was coming with you.
Oh,
but
welcome to.
Mate, what's it for? Like, tell us what you're doing this for.
Yeah. So I'm doing this for youth mental health here in Australia. That is what we're building this whole project for. So I always, since I started mountaineering, wanted to do Everest. It was always, the apple of my eye. It's where I wanted to head with my career in this space. And I wanted to do it for someone bigger than myself. Now, when I lost my mum to cancer, I didn't really know how to deal with that, being a young fella, and I just internalized. I didn't know who to talk to, what to say, or how to say it. And 7 years later, it bit me on the ass because I hadn't spoken about it and I hadn't dealt with any of the trauma. And I had some really dark thoughts, but I was super lucky that I had a community in place. They caught me, got me the help I needed, and then started to set me on a better path. What I realized is, especially after talking to U-Turn, a lot of people aren't that fortunate. And it's not until they reach crisis point that they actually get offered any help at all. So through this expedition, we're going to be raising money to build alongside U-Turn, which is the charity partner that I'm working with, to build youth mental health gyms here in Australia. The first one's going to be in southeast Queensland.
Awesome.
And we're going to try prove the model. So then hopefully everything going well and we get, a big enough coverage, then we can prove it nationally. And instead of meeting people at crisis point, we want to meet them where they are before they reach that. And that's the idea behind these gyms, and to get them involved, sweating, outdoors as well. So we'll take some adventures from there and just really build a community. So when things do get hard, they've got people that they can now rely on. And the idea is all the gym workers are going to be mental health workers as well. So there's going to be a real big safety net, which would be great.
It's probably something that's needed more and more now, like given that a lot of, like the amount of time that we all spend on social media and just avoiding real connection, real conversations.
Definitely.
I'm massive about vulnerability, mate. Like there's been plenty of conversation on this podcast with tears and people being vulnerable, and I'm a big believer that the more vulnerable you are, like that, I used to call it the floodgates open. Like you can really start to become your true self once you let trauma out.
Definitely.
That's a pretty incredible story. Like because obviously dealing with the death of your mum. So what, grade 11? You're like, what's that, 16?
Yeah, I was 16.
Yeah,
it was tough, man.
Yeah, it's hard, eh? Like
Yeah. It was shit as. But like when it all happened, because like, so she went into a coma for a few months, and like we didn't know because she was in a coma, but she kept having seizure after seizure after seizure. So then when she came out of the coma, she didn't have any like motor skills or general functions or anything. And that was one of the most breaking moments, is like knowing that I'm probably never going to have like a proper conversation with my mum again. And yeah, so that really rattled me. And then when she passed, it was just so peaceful, but it just hit me like a ton of bricks. I was like, man, like I'm never going to see my mum again. And that was heartbreaking, man. That was really heartbreaking. But my brother and sister, so I was in the room when mum passed. My brother and sister were downstairs, and this was in a Nazareth house. And I remember being told, like, you got to go and look after your brother and sister. You have to let them know that this just happened. I remember taking this elevator down to the bottom of Nazareth's house, and I was just trying to comprehend what just happened. Could hear an ambulance coming, and knowing like I had to go and have a conversation with my little brother and my little sister, and trying to like juggle those three things happening like all at once was wild. So I just did like what my default setting was, and it was just to kind of like basically step in the back of my mind and then just try.
So where's your old man?
I was in with mum.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, that was hard.
That
sucked.
It's not something that a 16-year-old should have to go through or deal with. So like, how's your siblings now? Your brother and sister?
Yeah, good, mate. They've remarkable. Like especially my little brother, because he was 9. So like we got good years, right? But he was still so young and still very impressionable. So yeah, he's a landscaper now, and he's just out there enjoying his mates. But yeah, obviously I went through a hard path. I'm super proud of how he's made it out, and same with my sister. My sister's an incredible person. She finished university. She's now an interior designer. So yeah, I'm super proud of both of them for getting through that.
Yeah.
And you never really like through it, I think, either. You learn to live with it, and you learn to kind of do good from it and do good because of it. But yeah, I'm proud of them, man.
Yeah, it's awesome, mate. It's awesome. So what's some things that you've learnt to deal with it? Because I guess it doesn't matter whether you're 16, you're 40, you're 10. Like at some point in our lives, we all deal with people passing away.
Yeah.
And like you pointed out, that it took you until your mid to late 20s to deal with it.
Yeah.
I feel like there'd be a lot of people that listen to this podcast that have bottled it up and possibly haven't dealt with the trauma of having someone pass away.
Mate, I guess, and like I'm not a mental health professional, but it took me a long time to realize this, and what helps me, and this is what I try to do with other people and try to speak about as much as possible, is the hardest thing for you to do is have the first conversation. And we really, like as humans, need community, and we need to find who our community is, and we can all do that. Like you can do that if you're listening to this in your car, if you're at home, just have a think about it and be like, who do I trust? Who is, I know if I call, they will pick up or at least call me back. They're your people.
Yeah.
And just go and have a genuine conversation with one of them, because this conversation works two ways. One, you share a problem, so you just halved it. The second is you've probably just inspired them to go and have a conversation as well. Or maybe they've opened the door to having a conversation with you about what they're struggling with. And especially as young men, we think we've just got to keep head down, marching forwards, and, it's fine, it's all good. But everyone feels, mate. Everyone's got emotions, everyone's got a heart, everyone's got good inside them. So it's important to just, let the guard down and go have a conversation with someone you trust. And that's the first step, because the first one's always the hardest into building, I guess, a better mental, mental health mindset.
So with the gyms that you're raising money to get off the ground, like, is that like there'll only be like an age group or an age limit to sort of who can come to those gyms, or?
So the focus of it will be 12 to 25, because that's, I feel like, where we can make the most impact and probably where we need to really focus in. But there's not going to be a cap, no. We want anyone and everyone to come and have a chat and just work on bettering themselves. Yeah.
Because like physical exercise is a good way to deal with stress and anxiety, and just getting the blood moving, getting the body feeling good. Like, it benefits everyone. Like, and if you're doing that with you at the same time that you're surrounding yourself with like-minded people, I think it's only a good thing.
Yeah.
This, like, Everest was base camp. I'm not going to say Everest. Base camp was a turning point in my life. Like, I was in my mid to late 30s, and like my early 30s were the hardest time of my life. Like, we late 20s, early 30s, like, I had a business that almost went bankrupt and nearly lost everything, and I sort of had turned around and was working out of that. But and then since I'd left school, like, I'd never, and even at school, like, I was never a really sporty person. Like, my sport, it had to have a motor. Like, I was never really interested in running or bloody kicking balls and all that sort of shit. I played a bit of football, did a bit of tennis and stuff, and so that when a mate asked me to go to base camp, and I've talked about it on this podcast before, like, I definitely didn't do very well at school, but he's like, "Oh, I'm going to go to base camp. I need a challenge, and it's at Mount Everest." And I'm like, "Oh, beauty, where's that?" Like, I didn't even know where it was. And it was definitely a turning point in my life, because the hike itself, like the 3 weeks that we were away, was incredible. Like, the friendships made, the locals we met, like, it was amazing. But it was the biggest thing I took away from it was the lead up to it. So, like, for 8 months, just mates that I was already talking to, but it wasn't the same. Like, you'd call or you'd have a beer every now and then, or maybe too many beers, or you'd pick up the phone and say, like, "How you going?" But just doing training with them, like getting out, walking, talking, like sharing just day-to-day shit, like, just did me a world of good, and I became addicted to it. And I still tell people now, like, if someone had told me for the first 30 years of my life that you should get out and go hiking, you're going to like the outdoors, I would have told them to go jump. Like, unless it's got an engine, I'm not interested in it. But I love it now, and I'm almost probably a little bit addicted to it. And I'm definitely keen to talk to you about teaming up, and let's do some level up adventures. But
yeah, mate, definitely.
And so this year, like, part of Live Life Build now, our Elevate community, like, I'm introducing adventures. So part of our yearly schedule will be taking our members on regular adventures.
Nice.
And so we've actually got one the first one's coming up next week. Like I said, we're doing the Aussie 10 with Glenn. And just seeing, so we've set up a little WhatsApp group for the guys that are coming on that trek, and just seeing the commitment. Like, I think that's the thing. Like, once you commit to a challenge like that,
man,
you have to put in some effort. And I really, I guess, probably have to give that base camp trip some credit to why I've got all the businesses and I've had all the good fortune that I've had so far, because a trek, I think, is exactly the same as a business. If you wanted to do this record attempt and you didn't do any training and you just went out there and tried to do it,
I look like a turkey.
you're going to look like a turkey. You're going to get injuries because you haven't trained. You're going to be underprepared, and ultimately you're going to fail.
Yeah,
Or you could accomplish it, but it's going to be very difficult.
definitely.
But if you put in the training, you talk to the right people, you get the right advice, as you said, you hang around the right community, there's a 99.9% chance that you're going to kill this thing and smash it out of the park. And it's no different to business.
Yeah.
Like, if you get into a business, and I did this for the first 10 or 12 years, like if you're just flogging your ass, putting your boots on every day, just hoping that things are going to get better and improve, you're literally just working your ass off, just hoping for the best and just thinking that turnover is everything. The reality is you're going to fail. But if you put in the effort, you do some training, you talk to the right people, you surround yourself with the right community, you're going to win.
Yeah.
I think it's fantastic, mate, what you're doing, and I can't wait to, like I said, follow you and see where you end up with it. But
Definitely. I've just got something to add to that as well. Like, so what you've done now with regimenting these adventures is genius, because one thing when we're all in business and we're all working hard towards stuff, you don't take time to stop and smell the roses. And having these scheduled out adventures kind of forces, and builders, mate, they're busy as anything, forces people to go and actually smell the roses. Take the time away from the business, breathe, and just realize how far you've come and what you've actually done and accomplished so far.
Yeah.
So I think it's a great idea. And we were talking about it before the potty as well. Being outdoors, it changes people's mindsets. It changes people's perspective.
Yeah.
It's so important.
And I think there's so in our Everest, when we went to base camp, there was probably 4 blokes in the group that I didn't know.
Yeah.
And so it was very interesting seeing, we all had businesses. We paid for choppers to fly in and out of Lukla, and we paid for a chopper to fly us back from base camp to Lukla, so we didn't have to walk back. It was just a time thing.
Yeah. Mate, that walk back is tough.
Yeah. Well, I obviously didn't know at the time, but man, I'm glad I did, because walking. If I had to walk down what we'd just walked up, it was man, my knees would have been flogged. But just seeing how different people react to different things, deal with different things.
Yeah.
It was very confronting seeing, we had. I was the only one in our group that didn't really struggle with the altitude sickness, and I put that down to I got asthma when I was very young.
Yeah.
Well, up until my early 20s, and I didn't have it when I went on that trip, but I took my Ventolin just in case. And up in the altitude, I did start feeling a bit wheezy, so I was taking my Ventolin, and I think that opened my airways and gave me more oxygen. But it was pretty confronting seeing grown men in the fetal position on the ground, telling us to tell their wives and kids that they love them and all that sort of stuff. And it really opened my eyes up to think, that's how quick your life can change.
Oh, it was a drop of a pin, mate. Snap of the fingers, so fast.
And so you got to make the most of every single bloody minute. It's pretty simple.
Definitely. My first time at altitude was not pretty. Let's just say that. I was at Lobichet, and we'd been moving quickly. And we're like, all right, let's punch out Lobichet to Everest Base Camp, and let's see how fast we can get there. And the guide I was with was like, okay, way too confident. And I just took out like a bull out of the gates and just started moving way too fast, not taking my time. I got to base camp and my vision just went blurry, started vomiting, and the altitude just fully humbled me, completely humbled me. I had to actually this is my first ever trek to base camp. I had to get a horse back down to Dingboshe. So that's 3 villages down.
Yeah.
And I had to rest there for 2 days before I went and climbed my first 6,000 meter peak. And I just remember I was like, I'm going to take everything a little bit slower from here on in.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing, and we say this in mountaineering is go slow to go far. if you just try and huck it out the gates and move quickly, you will get humbled eventually. Go slow, acclimatise properly, and that's been my ethos ever since with all the climbing I've done is just slow it down, let your body take time to adjust because it needs to, and just, enjoy the journey.
That's a great statement for business too, mate. Like,
Yeah.
go slow, go far.
Yeah.
Like, it's the same thing. So how many mountains have you climbed?
Yeah, so above the 6,000, I've climbed 4 major ones, and then under 6,000, a heap.
Yeah.
Because some of the expeditions I went on last year, we would climb like 5,000 meter peaks just to train. So, for example, I was on expedition. I was guiding a friend of mine on a peak in Kyrgyzstan in August last year called Lenin Peak, and wild story from there. So we got to base camp, and base camp in Kyrgyzstan is not like Nepal. It's just like this lush green valley, river running through it, horses everywhere. Like, it's proper Mongolian. I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it. I felt like Genghis Khan. And
It sounds like I want to go there, mate.
yeah,
Base camp at Everest, like, is the closest thing, I guess, to the moon. I think, like,
Yeah.
the stones and ice.
so arid, hey?
Yeah.
It's insane. But yeah, and then so we're at base camp. Base camp's about 3,800 meters, and the summit of Lenin Peak's 7,100. So it's quite a big climb there. And I'm with my Russian buddy, and everyone there was Russian. So I was the odd one out speaking English. I had no idea what anyone was saying at any moment. So I was relying on him with the language. But we ended up acclimatizing. We climbed a few smaller peaks nearby just to really, and we went and spent a night on top of one as well. And we were going to do this unsupported. And we acclimatized really well. We did a rotation. On the rotation, we got some bad weather, so we had to come down a little bit shy of where we wanted to get height-wise on the rotation. And we came back, we rested for a few days, and then we went back to Camp 1. And now Camp 1's at about 4,500 meters. The summit's 7,100. We get there, and we go check in with the mountain rescue guy, and he's this old Russian mountaineer. And we walk into his tent, he'd polished off a bottle of vodka, and he's on his second. It's 3 p.m. in the Arvo. And I start chatting to him, and he just like starts saying in Russian, which I didn't know at the time, which I was thankful for. But he starts telling my friend, like, I'm done for the year. If you guys want to go, I'll come get your bodies next year. And just fully psyching my mate out. But I walked away because I had no idea what he was saying. So I'm like preparing all the gear and everything like that. Then my mate comes out, he's like, we can't go. I'm like, why not? And he's like, oh, this Russian guy told us we're going to die if we go. And I was like, why? And he's like, because he doesn't want to help us. So I'm like, all right, whatever, mate. I'm going to go talk to a Sherpa. You come with me and we'll see what they think. And the Sherpas are like, oh, it's fine. Like, we'll go up. It'll be all good. So I convinced him and I'm like, all right, we worked this hard to get to this point. We're going on this summit push now. Let's do it. So we started out at about midnight. We're going through the glacier, and then about a few hours into the glacier, there's this massive 100-meter high ice wall. And just before we reach the ice wall, my mate's crampon breaks, which are like crampons, the spikes on our feet to keep us from slipping. So I take it off. I try to fix it with him. We fix it. Thank God for the trade background and a multi-tool. And then put it back on. We start climbing, and we get about halfway up this ice wall, and it breaks again. And we're on our own. It's probably like 4 a.m. at this point. Like, it's late, early. And I say to him, I'm like, mate, you've got the radio. Can you radio back to Camp 1, the mountain rescue guy, and let him know that we're coming back to get some new gear? And he's like, yep. Checks his pockets. He's lost the radio.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're kidding me. So I did what I'd been trained to do, and I tied into like a short rope, and I lowered him back down first, and then I tied into a short rope with him, and we started crossing the glacier, but he had one crampon less, so he was really relying on one foot. About 5 minutes in, it's still very dark, he slips, falls into a crevasse, and I've just got his weight on this rope, but he didn't knock himself out, luckily, so he was still conscious, and like we got him out of the crevasse. But what happened was he fell through like an ice sheet, and it was running water underneath, and he was drenched, and it's about minus 15 degrees outside. So in that moment, had to like strip him off, put my summit gear, which I had on me luckily, on him, and start like walking him back to base camp. And mate, we got him back. He didn't lose any toes and fingers, luckily, thanks to duct tape. It's a great insulator. And yeah, that was like one of my like wildest mountaineering moments. We didn't end up summiting that year because of the incident, and then I didn't have a partner to climb again with. But I think from that expedition, I learned invaluable lessons about mountaineering and about being in these very wild, adventurous situations and how you react to pressure. I think when you get in those situations, you learn a lot about yourself, and it gives you the confidence then to go bite off something a bit bigger the next time. Yeah.
Have you read Dick Smith's book?
Dick Smith, yeah. I was reading it on that trip.
I think that's awesome. He inspires me. He's an awesome Aussie. But mate, like, how do you like that? Yeah, that's an incredible story. Like, I just can't imagine being in that situation where you, like, it's literally you could die.
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty full on.
Yeah, it was scary, definitely. But what was wild was like, didn't really get scared. Kind of just kicked into like what your training is, what your preparation is, and all right, this has been brought up in the past. This is what you do here. You get the wet clothes off them. You try to put dry ones on. You insulate the feet. You put some hand warmers in with the feet and the hands, and you try to keep them warm. And like, it's like anything in business. It just goes back to the preparation. Goes back to what you've learned, what's in your med kit, what's in your backpack. All right, you got duct tape, sweet. Let's use that. So I think, yeah, so many links to life there as well, right?
So what would you say to someone that's listening that thinks they like a bit of adventure and stuff and wants to have a go at something?
I'd say just go out and do something. You know what I mean? Like, and it didn't start for me like Blenheim Peak or now this expedition from sea level to the summit of Everest. Like, it definitely didn't start like that. It started just by getting outdoors. Like, for me, like, my first adventures were probably going camping with my family. You know what I mean? Going, like, we had a wilderness camp in year 10 where I reckon that was some of the wildest camping I'd ever done. But it's just getting outdoors, finding the time to do it. And like, even though we are time poor, we always have time. You can always make time for something you care about. And just going and doing it, buying a tent, going and setting it up on a beach somewhere. Just start to transition your life outside a little bit, get used to it, find the enjoyment in it, and then build from there.
I think where my passion's coming from now is I definitely love the adventure. I love the adrenaline. I definitely love the challenge. But it's also a huge part of it is just the locations that you can get to by hiking. There's no other way to get there.
Nah.
Like I said, I can't wait to Kokoda, like just to get in the jungle and see where we end up there. We've done a fair bit of hiking down around Milford in in New Zealand. So it's just the noises. Like, that was probably a big thing for me. Like, coming from just loving all types of motorsport and just having engines screaming all the time, to literally just be walking along listening to the wind and the like water or the birds or the animals, like, and to be honest, your own thoughts, like just taking that time out to just, I think I've become very I don't know, I'm just humble within myself. Like, I think that's important. Like, a lot of people miss that these days. Like, they think that they've got to be flat out all the time. They've got to be connected all the time. Like, it's such a, well, my opinion is it's a very horrible way to live. Like, if you've got to be happy to be yourself.
Yeah. Oh, big time. Do you think now you are more successful because of it?
100%.
Yeah. And it doesn't, like, where before you did this, it felt counterintuitive, right?
Yeah.
It's incredible.
I can, even just on the training walks that I've been doing for the last few months, mate, leading up to this one next week and then Kokoda in April, I am completely okay with going on a 20k walk on my own. I take my dog most of the time, but
nice.
I don't have my phone. Like, I have my phone in my pocket, but I don't listen to anything. I don't have earpods in. And I can come back from even a 45-minute walk, but I can come up with so much structure, so many ideas, so much clarity in that time. So a lot of the time, the first thing I do after I get back from a hike is journaling.
Yeah.
And just make sure I don't lose those incredible ideas that I've come up with. Like write them down, or some of my team members hate it because they know if I've been training, because I smash them with Slack messages or emails. But just for me, it just gives me so much clarity.
Yeah.
And you got to find the next thing to aim for. But it's definitely helped me out with all my businesses. I definitely believe I wouldn't be as successful as I am now if I wasn't locking those adventures in. And like through, I guess, that COVID period, like we did very well. We survived it. We got through it. Businesses went good, but I felt like there was this, it just got stale.
Yeah.
Like I lost a bit of drive and things. And now that the adventures are back, and then we locked Kokoda in probably over 12 months ago now. And then last year I was like, it's too far away. Like I need something else. So then last year, Shane and I did the 48K Kokoda challenge. So that gave me something to aim for. And then
That's the one on the Gold Coast?
we did the one up at Kenilworth.
Yeah, nice.
Oh man, it flogged us. Like it was.
Is that like a solid push, that one?
Oh man, 48K. In 48Ks we did like 2,600 meters of elevation and descent, and we were slow. We did it in just under just over 13 hours.
Mate, that's solid as.
In the rain.
Rain
8 hours. Yeah, rain for 8. But
when the rain comes, it changes things, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Adds that extra layer of complexity big time.
Yeah, but even with that, like you can't do anything about it.
Nah, you just got to keep trekking along.
Yeah, you just got to get it done.
Yeah.
So mate, what's your preparation for this record attempt? Like,
Yeah, I'll go into a bit of detail. So I got back from that Lennon Peak expedition, and I was really lucky. About 4 months last year was spent above 5,000 meters. I spent a lot of time at altitude, so I learned a lot of good lessons there, and came back to Australia. And because of all the experience, I knew exactly what I needed to train. I knew what my weaknesses were up there, and just started like going towards it. So I really realized quickly that I needed to build endurance, and I could only take so much load on my knees. So the best way to build endurance without hurting yourself was cycling. So I bought a bike, got on the bike, and I jumped on a gym bike first for like a solid few months there, and then got to the road bike, and then just started punching out Ks and building like quite a big base. So that was the first thing I did. Then I did the typical mountaineering training. You spend hours on the Stairmaster with weight on. You spend hours on the Stairmaster with your big boots on and just getting comfortable with all of that. And that's kind of something I'd be doing for the whole year. So I built on that. Then I realized a lot of people go wrong in mountaineering when they freak out. It's when your heart rate increases and you don't have any way to regulate. So a really big focus was then breath work. So I'm doing breath work every day. I have 2 breathwork coaches, and I'm seeing them multiple times a week. So now a lot of my training, which you might see on my Instagram, is breath hold stuff. So I'll do squats, but I'll be holding my breath while I'm doing it, because I'm trying to get myself into that hypoxic state where my muscles are needing oxygen, and then to do activities. So you're trying to teach your muscles in your brain that even with the lack of oxygen, you can still operate. There's no need to freak out. And then through that as well, one of the breathwork coaches, he's a great mental health advocate as well, but he has taught me how to regulate, how to, when I'm in these stressful situations, how to regulate my nervous system so my heart rate stays low. Or if it does spike, how to bring it back quickly. Because when you're up on altitude and it starts to spike and you start to freak out a little bit, it's exponentially harder to bring it back, as you would have known at base camp. And that's why a lot of people on that base camp trek kind of get humbled, is because we don't have that issue here, but over there it's massive. So that's been the core focus of my training, and it's just about stacking good days after good days. And they don't all need to be perfect. Like some days even showing up is a win, but it's about showing up. It's about not missing the sessions and getting it in. So at the moment we're running mostly 2 sessions a day, sometimes 1, just depending on the day. But it's a daily thing, except we have 1 rest day. And that rest day is just don't do anything. Just let your body recover, because you put it under that big load, you need it to recover.
Who goes with you? Like, do you have a support crew or mate, or like what's the go there?
Yeah. So I've got an Australian filmmaker that's coming with me. I've got some friends in Nepal that I've met over my time there that are also going to be coming with me. So we've got a good crew there. This first, like the cycling part of it, it is quite a solo thing. We will have a support vehicle with all the nutrition and spare parts and everything in there. And the filmmaker will go, the filmmaker's from Brisbane, so he will go with the support vehicle. But the cycling is just going to be me, head down, bum up, just get into it every day.
Yeah.
So that's going to be, I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be a great adventure.
So you're obviously comfortable with yourself. You don't need to have noise in your ears and all that shit.
Well, I've spent so much time alone. Like I think, especially after losing my mum, like I did spend a lot of time alone and a lot of soul searching, and you just get comfortable by yourself, and then you realize, you don't actually need like a bunch of people around, but it's important to have community. They're 2 different things, I think. Like, you got to be comfortable in your own presence and in your own skin, but then you also have to keep relationships and good people around. So yeah, I'm comfortable hanging out by myself for 8 hours a day, definitely. But the thing is, when you're doing it, you're not really thinking about much else. You're just there, you're taking in where you are, what's around you, you're making decisions on the fly. 8 hours feels like 2. It's great.
Yeah, when you're doing what you love.
Yeah.
What's you mentioned nutrition, mate. What does a nutrition plan look like for an epic trip like this?
Yeah, so I'm working with a mate of mine who's a nutritionist at the moment, and we've basically worked it out with what I'll be burning on that ride. I'm going to be at around 6,500 to 7,000 calories intake a day. So we've come up with a plan on how to get that, and at the moment what I'm just trying to do is I'm just trying to get my gut ready for that. So I've just been basically building my calories per day, which has been a mission. But nutrition beforehand is I'm always trying to stay in a calorie surplus, and on the big training days I'm trying to hit 4,500 calories.
So what sort of foods are you eating?
Yeah, so a lot of just whole foods, like big meals, whole foods. And then what we'll do is we do have supplements as well. So we do have carb drinks, gels when you're training, because you're trying to get in a certain amount of carbs per hour when you're training. And it's just really sticking to that. So Morton gels is what I kind of can stomach pretty easily. So that's what we're focusing on there. There's some carb drinks as well that we'll bring. A lot of olive oil, my food. A lot of just whole foods, potatoes, chickens, veggies, all of that. Meat, and just a lot, to be honest. Just always eating, which is good, but it doesn't look like it, and I'm spewing about that. I've been trying to put on weight, but every time I hit the scale, I'm like back down to 75. I'm like, geez, man.
All the little Nepalese people couldn't believe it because you would know, like, they're tiny. They're only about, even the tall ones are 5 foot high.
Yeah.
Nothing against them, but we were eating a lot.
Yeah.
And it really proves, like, even though we weren't really sweating, but just at that altitude, how much your body's actually working. Because we got to the lodges and places where we'd have lunch or morning tea or whatever, and like every meal we're pretty much eating 2 or 3 meals.
Yeah.
And even the amount of water we drank, like, it was insane. Like,
were you having dal bhat?
Yeah.
Love that stuff.
There was only, I think it was 2 or 3 things on the menu that we just kept eating, because obviously we didn't want to eat anything that had been boiled in their water or had anything to do with their water. In case it was bloody
no good,
contaminated and stuff. But it's a different, I don't know, but it's all part of the adventure, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And like kind of adopting their culture while you're there, I think that's a very important thing to do as well. Like you hear stories, and hasn't happened in front of me, but you hear stories in the mountaineering world of people coming in and trying to conquer this and conquer that, and not being super respectful to the people that have been there for 5,000 years. And that's one thing I've really focused on, is just going in and embracing where you are, embracing the culture, trying to eat their food as much as you can if it agrees with you, and just being part of it, because it's like, if the listeners here have been or plan to go to the Himalaya, it's nothing like it. You're walking through and there's just towering peaks either side of you. It's it makes you feel small.
Oh, mate,
Perspective.
yeah, I highly recommend it. I think it's, just do yourself a favour and just try one adventure, like
Yeah.
whether it's Kilimanjaro, Kokoda, base camp, like just, you've got to experience that. Even just being up in the Himalayas, like going to those Buddhist temples and like hanging out with the monks and stuff, like just incredibly peaceful.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Did you stop in at a few of those monasteries?
Yeah.
Which ones?
Oh, mate, I couldn't tell you. I'll show you when you're finished. I got a big sign in my office. So I got the map printed, and then I sort of stuck photos along the map as we went. So yeah, I've got some photos out with some monks and stuff there. But one of them like, well, it would be one of them's the world's highest monastery or something, and it's quite big. It was a lot bigger than we were expecting.
Yeah, that was Tang Boshe,
Yeah,
I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we turned up, mate, just perfect time in the afternoon, and they were doing a ceremony and things, and it's just incredible.
Yeah.
Like, you just had to be there and like just sit down and watch and listen and take it all in.
Yeah. Did you see, when you were there, did you see those big Himalayan dogs as well?
Yeah.
Mate, so I heard a pretty cool story about that, is they're actually bred to fight off tigers, because there was a massive tiger population in that side of the Himalaya. So they bred these dogs to defend like the monasteries and stuff.
Yeah.
But you look at them and they're like horse-sized dogs.
It's like something you'd see in a cartoon or something. So, mate, what's next on the cards? Like, obviously, you're focused on this adventure and getting it out of the way, but like you mentioned before, you really want to get into doing some trekking and touring.
Yeah. So after this expedition, like, this project is all of my focus, and raising money for this youth mental health gym. That's where 100% of my energy is at the moment. But afterwards, like, I've been super fortunate to have these amazing adventures over the last few years, and I would love the opportunity to start bringing people with me, and like, not big groups, it'd be boutique, but just letting other people experience these humbling things that I've seen and had done to me and done and everything like that. Just bringing other people into the fold and giving them the opportunity to go and, see the wild horses in Kyrgyzstan, or, mate, go into the Himalaya and being told stories about the mountains and the lore about, the monasteries back in the 1300s. It's just these experiences that money can't buy. And it's part of us being human, right?
What's you keep mentioning mountaineering. Like, I haven't done anything with ropes and things.
Yeah.
Like, what's that like? Like, I would love to give it a go, but obviously that's not something that you can just sign up to a trip and go and do, is it? Like, is there some sort of training place you can go to? Like, how do you get started in that?
Yeah, so how I got started, I probably wouldn't recommend it. I kind of just dove in the deep end, and I made it through, but I paid the price. It broke me a few times. But you can go over to New Zealand and do an alpine course. That's probably a good place to start. You learn a lot of useful skills there. You can also just start by trekking. Get a trek done. The next time you go to the area, maybe go put in a 6,000 meter peak to climb. One of the non-technical ones. You buy the gear, or you can rent it as well. Then you go up and you experience it first. It won't be technical, and that's probably a good thing, because the technical side of things, you got to be comfortable with ropes, and also just being quite exposed. But it's a great start, and you can do that here. You can do that over in Kyrgyzstan. You can do it at Kili as well. And then from there, you find some passion, maybe go join a rock climbing gym. I do a lot of climbing as well, which is something I do to just be comfortable on the ropes. And then, you just build those skills. So when you
say climbing, like just feet and hands?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so feet and hands, but you need to be comfortable taking a fall on a rope and just tying knots, and those just general rope management skills and everything like that. They're super handy in mountaineering.
Have you had a fall where ropes caught you?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, lead climbing all the time. Yeah, yeah, yeah. On the mountains, no, not really. Like I've had some moments where like I've been pretty lucky to not slip. Um, but no, I think up there it's very dire if you do take a major fall even on a fixed rope just because of where you are, and it's hard to get help up there as well.
So on these peaks that you're talking about, like are they? And you said there was a rescue guy there. Like, are you putting the ropes in as you go, or is there already ropes at some of these places?
No, so most of the places and most of the commercial places they're already fixed. So a team of Sherpas will come in at the beginning of the season, and they'll fix the rope basically from wherever it starts to get somewhat technical up to the summit. And what you do is you've got this tool called a Jumar. It's an ascender, and you clip it onto the rope, and basically you can only go forwards, and if you go back, it catches you because it's tied into your harness. And then you've got another safety on the rope as well. So you'll walk up with that most of the time. I was in New Zealand a few months ago for my cousin's wedding, which I selfishly turned into a climbing trip. And that was a beautiful wedding. And I did a bunch of climbing there as
Yeah.
well, alpine stuff. And that's a bit different because there's no routes that are set. And that's more of the technical side of things. So that's why going to New Zealand and doing that course in the first place, that'll set you up for a really good career in climbing mountains.
Yeah.
Just because you learn the skills, as we are saying, like you learn that you get the foundation,
Yeah.
then you can start chipping away and building, the bigger project here, and then you do that. Then the next thing you're going to go for something a little bit more remote, and yeah, but once you're in there, it's addictive.
Yeah.
It's addictive.
So I'm just thinking about now what you're talking. Like, do any Aussies hold any records for mountaineering and climbing?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So a guy that I was lucky enough to have a few conversations with about this project, who was the original one to do the project, his name's Tim McCartney-Snape. So he's the
Sorry,
first.
what's his name?
Tim McCartney-Snape. So he's the first Australian to summit Mount Everest without bottled oxygen, and he did that in '86 with another guy named Greg Mortimer. And he is the original person to do the Sita summit. So he went from the Bay of Bengal in India. He didn't go on a bike. He went on foot to the summit of Everest and climbed up there back in 1990.
How long did he take?
He did it in 96 days, but he did it on foot. Like what he did is just incredible.
Yeah.
And he did it the climb as well without bottled oxygen. Like those old mountaineers are just tough, man.
So
Like,
you're doing oxygen?
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll do oxygen.
Yeah.
For me, like I don't think I'm ready to go without it yet. I want to do it a few times, and then I'll have a crack in the future without oxygen once I'm comfortable with the mountain.
Yeah.
But this is going to be with bottled oxygen, yeah.
After when we went over and did base camp, I think this year in May will be our 9th anniversary, but I didn't think anything, like I loved the trip. I thought it was fantastic, and yeah, didn't think I'd ever go back. And then I got back and probably only was back for 4 or 5 months, and I'm like, I want to do that.
Yeah.
And I set myself a target to do it by the time I'm 50, so I still got 5 or 6 years to go. But back then, like 8, 9 years ago, so we asked a few people over there that were doing it, and the cost varied ridiculously. Like some people had paid 18 grand, others had paid like 100 US, so like lots of money. But a lot of it was getting done with no oxygen. The more expensive guides were doing it with oxygen. But like I have done a little bit of homework on it since, and it seems to have gotten super expensive. It's like a rich man's game to go to the top.
It is, yeah.
And from what I heard, we started talking about this before, but from what I heard, you have to use oxygen now. Like most trek guides won't take you if you don't want to use oxygen.
It's got to be very specific. Like it's not a law or a rule, but it's got to be very specific. You've got to have the experience to do it without oxygen. You have to have, the trust of the company, because at the end of the day, like there's massive liability.
Yeah.
If a company is going to do the logistics and send you up there without bottled oxygen, there's a lot of risk because there's a lot that can go wrong. You're pretty much above 8,000, you're dying. Like it's just a really slow death. There's not enough oxygen to kind of sustain us up there. So that's why supplementary oxygen makes a big difference. But there are a few special projects of well-known climbers that really are pushing the limit of alpinism and going up there without. One day, I hope that'll be me. But yeah, you got to be super careful. And a lot of companies won't take people on unless they've kind of got that track record, which I think's fair enough as well.
From what I saw him when I was over there, mate, it's awesome that they're getting some more rules in place. Like every day, there was choppers flying past with dead bodies in them. Like,
yeah, man.
Not just from summit, from base, like people just going to base camp as well. Like,
yeah.
It actually freaked me out. Like the afternoon before we started in Kathmandu, we had a briefing, and the trek company said there's 13 of you in this group, 12 of you. I think it said 3 of you won't make it, and we're like, "What are you talking about?" And, I was like, shit, what do I sign up for? But they're like, no, the altitude will get you. And it said on average, sort of 30 to 40% of the group doesn't make it. But like all of our group ended up making it to base camp. But yeah, like I said, they all got sick. 2 of them got very sick. But it's incredible how much. And I think that was something else I learnt from doing that, like not taking advantage of my body.
Yeah.
Like realising, like, shit, my body actually needs this shit to survive. Like, oxygen's a bloody...
it's a godsend.
Yeah, it's incredible, mate. Look, I definitely, I take my hat off to you. I'm super keen to follow your journey. And so how can we follow you, mate? What's the best way? Like, what's your...
Yeah. So best way to follow me would just be social media, I'd say.
What's your
handle? My handle's Oliver Foran. It's super easy. You'll put it in the descriptions and everything if that's all good.
Yep.
If you do want to support the project as well, all funds raised are going towards building these gyms, and that is climbingforyoungminds.com.au. And every bit of support, whether it's a donation or you share it to your mates, makes a massive difference, because the bigger this gets, the faster we can build this gym and prove the model and get it out to as many communities as we possibly can, because I think there's a massive need for it in Australia.
Yeah, 100%. So just tell us the dates again when you're doing this.
Yeah, so I'll be leaving the country the 26th of March, and I'll be starting the expedition on the 1st of April. We're talking to some news outlets in Australia that will cover parts of it, but if you want to get the in-depth, the behind the scenes, the good, the bad, and the downright ugly, follow the Instagram, and we'll be posting daily content and trying to take as many people on the journey with us. Yeah.
And what you've mentioned that you're doing a bit of a doco, like when can we expect to sort of see that?
That'll probably be 27, I'd say. We'll need a time. To be honest, after this expedition, I think I'm going to break myself, so I'll probably take a month off or so. Before we get into the doco and everything like that. But yeah, we are filming a documentary, and that documentary is it's gonna cover the world record attempt from sea level to the summit, but it's also going to be a journey on mental health and how even with the hands that are dealt to you, you can do incredible things and you can change your life through a decision at any moment. And that's just what we're trying to show, is that where you are now is not where you're going to be forever. So just keep plugging away. And it's incredible.
Can you dive into that a bit more, mate? Because that's huge.
The doco?
No, like what you just said about every decision you make has an outcome. Like the decision you make now can change your life forever. Like,
well, and that's the thing is like, and that's what we're trying to show through this whole project. Like, mate, I'm the most normal bloke on the planet. Like, there's no special bone in my body. It's just I've worked hard, and put the work in and bitten off way more than I can chew. But we're just trying to show that even if you're in the dumps, you're down in the dark, you feel like there's nothing else out there and you feel like this is it, it's not. And it's a mindset and it's a decision to improve your life. And you can make that at any moment. You can make that driving the car to work in the morning. You can make it, having a beer with your mates. Like it's just a decision. And how the decision gets made is you think, what do I want? What do I want to do in this life? What is it that I'm going for? You make the decision, you write down the goal, you work backwards, You take actionable step towards it every day. You wake up and you remember why you're doing it, and you plug away, and you watch within 6-12 months, your life will completely change, and you'll be out of that place that you were, and you'll be into a better place. And even if you go back there, now you've got the roadmap to get out and to keep going. And yeah, I think that's what we're trying to throw through this documentary.
Yeah, I love it, mate. Look, we'll wrap it up. I really appreciate your time this afternoon to come over here, hang out in the studio, and get on the podcast.
Thanks,
You've
man.
definitely inspired me. Like I'll be following for sure, and I want to know what we can do in the future. But mate, last thing before we get out of here, what does level up mean to you?
Level up to me means doing the work now for what you want in the future. I think it's putting in the hard yards now for that big goal like we just spoke about before, and just changing the mindset from damn, this happened to me, to let's go, how can I improve? Let's do it. Let's get better. 1%.
Yeah, love it.
Mate, I've got a question for you as well.
Go for it, mate.
All right, so I've been on a few podcasts and I feel like sometimes been a terrible guest because I haven't bought a present. So my present's this question. If you could have anyone, past, present, future, on this podcast, who would it be and why?
Oh, it's hard to make it, it's hard to pick one. It'd be a toss-up between Peter Brock
Yeah,
and Steve Irwin.
love it. Love it. I feel like I know the reason why Steve Irwin. Why Peter Brock?
Oh, mate, I'm a rev head from way back, and
Yeah,
I
nice.
I grew up watching touring cars and just loved Holdens, and I love the stuff he did once he left the touring cars and like Targa Tasmania and that sort of stuff. I love his passion for motor vehicles, and he's just an old hoon. And I saw a little bit of a doco once, and I think he was a bit of a larrikin. So I think I'd love to have a chat to him.
Oh, mate, I'll tune in for that one for sure.
All right, mate, really appreciate your time, like I said. And please get behind Ollie, support this. We'll put all the links in this podcast when it comes out, and get behind him, sponsor him, help him out, follow him on social media so we can keep an eye on the track. But look, guys, as always, make sure you like, subscribe, share, all those types of things so we continue to make this an incredible podcast. Go to the DuaynePearce.com website to check out all of our merch so that you can help us with our mission to create a new industry. And look, if you haven't seen it, my training business, Live Life Build, is having a lot of changes at the moment, and this year is going to be absolutely incredible. We've got some amazing live events coming up that tickets will be available for everybody. You don't have to be a Live Life Build member. So if you're in the building industry and you want to make change, you want to have an incredible business, you want to have a sustainable business, and most importantly, a profitable building business, then you cannot afford to miss these live events that we've got coming up. So keep an eye on the socials and the websites for those. But as always, look forward to seeing you on the next one.
Don't forget to level up.
Level up. All right, guys, I want to introduce you to a really exciting new product that I believe is going to play a massive role in Australia building healthier homes. As you all know, I am extremely passionate about healthy homes, and I'm doing a lot of research and putting a lot of time and effort into making sure my construction business is leading the way when it comes to building healthy homes here in Australia. We've teamed up with the guys from Highwood Timber. Highwood Timber are pioneering condensation management with their high-flow ventilated LVL batten system. High-flow battens give builders a stronger, straighter and smarter way to create a ventilated cavity behind cladding and underneath roofs, without compromising on structural performance. While tackling condensation to improve building health and ease of installation, Highwood battens are built to perform. When it comes to dealing with condensation and ventilation, high-flow battens will help you create continuous ventilated cavities behind all your cladding and underneath your roof sheeting. They reduce condensation risk and support healthier, longer-lasting buildings. Highwood timber battens are also in alignment with the proposed NCC condensation management requirements, as well as passive house ventilation requirements. Being an engineered LVL product, they are stronger, straighter, and more dimensionally stable than a solid material such as pine. This helps resist warping, twisting, and shrinkage, ensuring more consistent installs, less prone to splitting than solid timber. Highwood timber battens are precisely manufactured, meaning that your installation will be faster and easier than other products on the market. The part that I like the most about these battens are they are H3 treated for long-term protection against decay and termites. They use a waterborne H3 treatment which reduces reactivity with membranes and adhesives when compared to LOSP. These are the exact battens that you want to be using on your homes and your builds if you are considering building healthier homes or passive homes. Check them out, Highwood Timber Products. Yeah. Have you ridden over there before? So you're aiming for 60. So no ties, no missus, no kids.